Welcome everyone. It is January 25th, 4:02 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Antoine Farah, and welcome to another video off of Digital Goatz Academy. Today, what we're going to be discussing, guys, is pretty much chart marking, right? Or how to draw up your analysis when you're trading on TradingView, right? Now, all this information is like universal. So what I'm trying to prove is that, or what I'm showing you guys today is that basically you can go to any currency pair, stock pair, whatever, analyze it, break it down, and find an opportunity to jump in the market, whether that be a sell or a buy, because this is foreign exchange, forex trading, right, guys? So I chose something simplistic. I'm looking at GBP USD. Now let me pull up my chart for y'all real quick. So yes, as I said, we're marking up our charts. I'm just going through how to annotate it properly. Obviously, I have to discuss the three ways the market move when I'm drawing these zones. But what I want to do is go ahead and clear. What is this? Remove. Yeah, I don't think I need any of that. Okay, good. Now, my recommendation for you all is that, when you're analyzing your charts, right, before you even start drawing up your charts, you want to look at the overall time frame. So your best bet is to start at a weekly time frame, so that way you get clarity on what direction that the market is actually traveling. And you get to see a lot more data that you may have not seen on the smaller time frame, because this stuff is hitting. Now, here's the thing that we already see right here. Now, well, here's the first thing that we need to establish. We need to establish the three ways that the market move, which would be up. Let me just draw a line. Up, down. Let's color code these actually. Because obviously if it's down, we're looking for sells. If it's going up, then we're looking for buy opportunities. So my blue indicates buys and my red indicates sells, right? And the last one would be sideways, right? Let's make that, I don't know, black for a neutral color. Not a neutral color, but just, y'all know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, so up, down, sideways. Sideways is otherwise known as consolidation. Now, these aren't actual markups that I'm doing right now. I'm just giving you a depiction on the three ways that the market move. Like I said, up, down, sideways, right? So establishing that, if we're on a weekly time frame, the first thing that we want to do is figure out what direction the market is overall traveling, right? And your best bet is to go where you came from, right? To go where you came, well, where the market is currently at, and then trace it back. So if we hone in or scale in right here, the market's not open right now because it's the weekend. So it'll open back up on Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern. So right now everything's frozen, which gives you a better opportunity to see what's going on without being confused with all the mayhem of the market going up, down. You're second guessing yourself. Wicks are being produced. Pretty much a lot of noise that distracts you from even able to establish, okay, what direction the market is traveling and what am I actually looking for, right? So if we look at the overall time frame, like I said, this market has been. If we look at the weekly, it's really been ranging. It hasn't really broken out of anything. But again, if we start from where we came from on the weekly time frame, or where the market is currently, and trace it back, we can see that the market has been selling for quite a while. I mean, look at these weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I guess you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13. 13 weeks that this market has been selling, right? So on a weekly time frame, we know that is the market actually selling, right? Now, the first thing that I want to do is, because I am on a weekly time frame, I want to see, is there any levels of support or resistance going on, right? Because I want to annotate that for future reference if I need them. Because if the market breaks it, then obviously I want to find an opportunity to jump in for the sell continuation. Now, if we start right here, this is January 2025. All right, January 2025. So in January, what is this? Yeah, week. Second week. So in the second week of January, GBP, USD, or British pound, United States versus against United States dollar has gotten extremely bullish. That means currently on the weekly time frame, price is going up, right? Now that doesn't mean that price is buying. I mean, it could, but that doesn't necessarily mean that price is buying, because here's the thing. Price has broken all these previous levels of support. But the logical thing that you would assume is that, okay, price is probably trying to head back to some area to correct itself for continuations, because the markets obviously just can't go up and down. So we do have some form of support right here on a weekly time frame, which does validate it being strong. So unless price breaks that zone, right now, currently, we can say that, okay, GBP, even though in the past, overall, it's been selling from the past couple of weeks, right? We can sit here and say that, all right, we've hit a support structure. That's just an annotation, because we don't know if the market is actually trying to buy there. This is a good sign because it did break out of this zone right here. So more than likely, next week, what you'll probably see is the market potentially trying to come all the way back down here in order to correct itself, and then maybe start to push itself up. But this is a strong level of support. And if you were confused about it, because what are the things that we need to have that make support? We need the market to turn to touch two price zones or price areas, rejected or bounce off of it, whatever you want to say, and that establishes either support or resistance, especially on the higher time frame. This actually gives you a clearer image of what support should be looking like, because last week we had that big push up, right? So if I turned it to a line chart, I can see that, oh man, wow, these are 2 points that touch around the same area. They're not exactly alike as far as where they bounced off from for price, but they're around the same area, if you can see that, right? So we have established that, okay, even though we've been ranging, we have created some form of structure, which would have been support, right? In order to confirm that, is the market trying to buy up? Absolutely. The market is trying to buy up. We don't know how high that the market is trying to buy up to, but we can overall summarize that, right? So what I did was draw a zone, like I said. Now, that zone, guys, that you're looking for is going to be indicated over here on your left-hand side of this toolbar. And if you come over, it's going to be under geometric shapes, right? So if you click geometric shapes, it'll give you brush, highlighter, so forth and so forth, the tools that you need. You go through them and learn how to apply them individually, guys, and also learn what the tools are used for. So in order to draw zones, I use a rectangle, right? So I use a rectangle, draw a zone, and I've made mine fancy. You can customize it. So if you see, I made mine a little bit more easier on the eyes. You know, you want to have fun with this, because let's be transparent. Overall, besides the thrill of making money, the information part about trading is extremely boring. So you have to make it fun on TradingView, just so you can kind of, you know, be lively with it. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what this video is about today, right? So next thing I want to do is I want to scale down, because I want more information. I established that overall it's been, in the past couple of weeks, it's been selling. We did hit a support structure. So unless price breaks that, I have to validate, I have to, on a higher time frame, trust that support structure. But again, not to confuse anybody, this is why we started from where we were at, and then where the market is currently at, and traced it back. Remember, we've been selling the past 13 weeks. So I have to acknowledge that. I have to acknowledge that even though it's creating support here, any type of support that it's creating may be invalidated once it retests like a previous low that it broke up out of. So somewhere here, or maybe it wants to create resistance and then keep pushing down. So we have to acknowledge that, you know what I'm saying? The only thing is that you're drawing these annotations to get a clearer picture of what's going on in the charts to begin with, right? So I draw my zone so I know that, okay, this is at least support right now. Is it support that's maintaining? I don't know until the next couple of weeks arise, right? So we just keep breaking it down until we find the information, because obviously what we're looking for is to make moves now. We're not looking for 13 weeks later to be like, oh, it finally sold. No, we're looking for opportunities within the next week, within the next couple of days, whatever your trading schedule is, right? So if I break it down to a daily time frame, now what's important is that this isn't part of this video. It's important that you learn what candlesticks mean, you know, what the patterns mean. What does it mean when you see a bullish engulfing or a bearish engulfing, things like that. Don't try to cram it all in one night. Your best bet is that when you're trading or when you're learning these things, pull up the charts and see if you can identify it. And then when it's live, see if you can still identify it and see what has the market created as far as like data points in order to guide you in that right direction. Like, oh man, I remember that. I remember learning that bullish engulfing, once it breaks that area, what I got to do, I got to be patient enough for a retest, unless it's a type of currency that doesn't follow the traditional, like after I break out, I immediately retest. Some of these currencies break out and then retest like weeks later. So you just have to get familiarized with whatever currency or whatever pair that you're looking at. So this in fact is like I said, support. And there are things that I can identify, but I don't want to get too much into that because it'll change the whole premise of this video, right? So we do have support structure. Price is buying up. Again, we got to start from where we came from. And if we look at where we came from and what's to the left of us, we're at a support structure. Price is buying up. How high will price go? Well, because we're still technically ranging. And what I mean is that if I go back out to the weekly time frame, besides like where it came from, like in September of 2022, or even where it came from in what is this? May of 2021. We can look at this. Like, this has been a range high. This is what I like to establish, because what it's showing you, one, is that ranges are just higher forms of consolidation. But if you see, the market hasn't been, it's been struggling to break out of anything. You see, this is a clear trend right here. This is a clear selling trend right there. Over here, the market is what is considered choppy, a lot of noise. I mean, people say a lot of different abbreviations for it. But what I like to do is I like to let myself know that, hey, this is a range high, this is a range low, and I try to make them like about the same thing as far as like you can go into the trend line and customize it to fit pretty much the coordinates or the parameters that you want. I like the lines to be like parallel, like straight, you know what I mean? Not like off. So obviously my bottom would be support, because those are areas that we're looking to buy off of. Trying to find a color that doesn't really just, I guess it really doesn't matter, right? Over here, same thing. And this is your settings toolbar. It used to be like a pinwheel, but they changed it. You know, I guess they're getting more fancy with icons. And you see my parameters, because pretty much what that does is allow me to make this straight. Like, they're parallel. They're the same. They're at the same price. They're not, you see, these are at different prices. So I want to make it straight by putting them at the same price. Whatever number that they're at, like once I, come into my settings, I'm not trying to like figure out which number I'm gonna go with. Whatever one I see first. So I see the first one, that's what I'm gonna make this line. Oh, wait. Yeah. And I like that. So I'm gonna turn that red now. If we annotate it, man, I thought that was red. Clearly I need glasses, right? You can just mark it with range high. Got a bunch of new features in TradingView, so really get familiar with TradingView. I mean, the quicker you are able to mark up the charts, the better it is for you as a trader. And then we got our range low. So even when you turn it to a line chart, you can see that the market is bouncing between these ranges, these price zones, right? Struggling, did that little fake out, but struggling to really break the top of thing. I mean, really break out either the bottom side or the top side. But what we could go off of, like I said, on a higher time frame is that, well, one, we know that it's selling from where we came from 13 weeks ago. But if I probably went out to a higher time frame, like 12 months or whatever, you can see that pretty much this is probably at like a previous low point. You can see that it created resistance right here. So this would be pretty much like the 50 or a halfway point of this selling trend right here, guys. From September of 2022, well, from May of 2021 to September of 2022, price has pretty much corrected. And what it should do is continue once it figure out like, okay, once it pretty much establishes breaking out of this range. That's what it should do, unless this in fact is considered like the true support structure. We won't know until we get a break. That's why it's like you can't just establish like what this market is doing until it truly breaks out, retest, and then you have an opportunity. But again, this is on a higher time frame. So when we break it down on a smaller time frame, those are the plays we're looking for. So as far as right now, like I said, buying up would probably be the best bet. Once it has its pullbacks, probably either all the way to the top of here, if not, to the last low point, which would still be like the range high. So I can see the market hitting the range high again and then dropping down, but we'll see. That's not, what I want to talk about. Like I said, guys, only thing we're establishing is like, what do we need to be drawing up, right? There's not really an opportunity to draw up a trend besides like on this time frame. Besides right here, if you draw up this trend, you can say that, oh, well, this market from 2022 has been buying up. That's absolutely true. This market has been buying up, created this resistance, which could have been a false sense of resistance that the market is ready to break. I mean, either way, you still establish it as resistance, but once it's broken, it will undoubtedly become support. So, like I said, we're still, facing the right direction that the market is going. Break it down to a daily, identify what you're seeing. Right here, I don't know if the market would want to establish another form of support to continue up, but that definitely could happen. So we could see something like, that before the market decided to, push up, something like that. I'm not thinking that's what's going on, but here's where we start scaling down to figure out, okay, what may be going on. This is the daily time frame. Now, 8 hour. Some of these time frames, if you just have like the basic version of TradingView or you haven't been exploring, you won't have these time frames. You have to set them in the customization bar. So up here, it'll say add custom interval, and you're able to add whatever custom time frame that you want, guys. So for me, though the ones that I have are valuable to me. You may have other versions and stuff. So if you're confused, like why don't I see the same thing I'm seeing on his screen, some of it's because of my customization. You probably haven't customized yours to have like an 8 hour time frame. It's very generic when you get TradingView. It's normally like 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, stops at that. I don't even know if on the basic form of TradingView you have it all the way down to 1 minute. I know like 55, 15, 30, 33 minutes is a custom. You know what I'm saying? So everything you won't have, but again, you have that customization bar at the top. You guys can customize it however you see fit. Why is this thing still? All right. So I didn't see anything on the 8 hour time frame that really I mean, if I was to mark it up to establish what the market is currently doing, here's an easy thing to here's an easy way to identify it with just using lines, right? So I know this used to be resistance. Now I'm not going to get all creative with this as far as like trying to make it a straight line, because the information that I need is on the higher time frame. These are just like temporary right now, just to identify what's going on right now. So just use the line. It's over here on the left-hand side, trend line tools. Just use that. Again, you can change it to whatever color. What I want to establish is that this was once resistance, right? This was once resistance right here, because these are the things that we have to pay attention to see what the market is even trying to do, right? So here's resistance right here. What did the market do? It broke up out of that. Well, it didn't even break up out of it yet. It retested this area. It did like a fake out, popped out to the top. You could consider that. You could kind of consider this area, what I'm trying to show y'all. Oh. You can kind of consider like this a breakout of this area. But I mean, like, yes, no. I mean, yeah, yes, in the sense of like, because we have the data already. So, but more than likely, most people wouldn't have been able to spot that. They would have probably thought that the market was selling off just from the zone, the fact that it kept bouncing here. But another form of consolidation that I talked about on like my last video. But this is the break. This for sure is the break, right? Now, what we want to have is that within the break, we want to see it try to pull back a little bit as close as possible. It probably won't pull back to this line, but again, previous levels of either support or resistance that were broken, right? So we draw another line. We should expect price to come about here. If not, it could come back to the zone. But any touch of this area or this area, price is validating that yes, I am bullish, right? Or I am starting to buy up for those of you that are still confused about the lingo, right? So I'm starting to buy up, and this is confirming that, yes, I am trying to buy up. The only thing that I need to do is I either need to retest, which to me, these do look like retests, but I would like to see like a sell candle, a strong sell candle, and then price buy back up from there. So that'll probably happen next week. So we have established at least within the 8-hour time frame, 4-hour time frame, that, well, we did that on like the daily and the weekly, but that this market is actively bullish, right? Now, here's the part what I like doing where you can start breaking it down based off of candlesticks. Again, this candle, it's kind of hard to break it down without me like going into further detail. I'm really trying to hold back because I'm keeping it towards like what this whole video is. But anyway, guys, so again, think about that 50 mark that I told you about. Like, even if you just ballparked it and was like, okay, that's about half of that candle right there, right? We should expect price to come back to at least half, at least. It could come 100%, which would be this whole candle. It could do whatever it wants. More than likely, going into Sunday, we'll probably have it retest this whole candle. You know what I'm saying? If not, breakthrough. Like I said, the one thing that we're trying to establish is that how far that is this market going to retest down. And the reason why I broke it down, like I'm talking about it from a candle perspective, guys, is that it may not want to come all the way back down here for that retest. Normally, when you start seeing it in candle form, you start getting the clarity on more information that, okay, price, because we're going into Monday, more than likely price will probably want to retest this 100%, not come all the way down there. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes you'll miss a trade by sticking to like, yes, you want it to come in your area, but you also want it to be like still close in the neighborhood is what me and my other me and my other traders like to say, right? It's like in the neighborhood somewhere. You don't, because you don't know if you have the sniper entry, but also you don't want to miss the entry trying to find that sniper entry. So what I would probably wait for is like, price to either come back down to these areas and then buy up from there, unless price is actively trying to push the market down to sell. But once you get more data as the day goes on, as the week goes on, you'll start having clarity on like, okay, the market probably does need to pull back, and in the beginning of the week, it'll probably shoot up, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, that's when it decides to take its pullback on like one of the New York sessions, right? Well, I could probably see that happen on a New York session versus a London session. So we've established that this market is bullish. As far as right now, we should be only looking for buys, right? We should be only looking for buys until the market show us otherwise. Now, here's the thing. Say you were prepping for a set. Well, we already established like where the market should generally come back, even when you back it out to a higher time frame. I love this because when you back it out to a higher time frame, that area that I had, that's still about 50% or half of this candle right here. So more than likely you would want to wait till the market comes back down here, a previous high, but that's still establishing exactly what we want to see. Do I take the sell off of that? No, because you've already been clear on what the market is trying to do. It's pretty much broken out of this high. It also created a pattern that you guys can identify. The fact that it closed like this identified a strong pattern, which is called a morning star. A morning star pattern is a bullish pattern or a buying pattern, right? So I know more than likely the market is going to try to break through all this fluff right here, all this noise. And they'll at least try to stop when it gets either up here or probably back to this resistance level right here. We don't know, but the only thing that we do know currently is that the market is bullish based off of this weekly time frame. It breaks this support structure. Like say next week it shoots up a little bit, shoots a red candle down, and that candle like closes red, like below this. Oh yeah, definitely this thing is coming down. I mean, but we've already established that. The only thing is that because this is a higher time frame, we don't want to just be trying to sell because we see the sell. We're going to buy back up into the sell and then confirm, are you still trying to sell, or because we've identified support on a weekly time frame, is the market trying to buy up? See what I'm saying? So having these annotations are helping a lot, and it's breaking it down for you that once new information is revealed, it's easier for you to be like, oh, because there's been plenty of times because I had my chart mark up, whether I was paying attention to the trade or not, if I had an alert set, or maybe I didn't have an alert set and I came back to it and was like, oh man, basically because I already charted up the market, or I charted up my charts, right? It's pretty much easy for me to enter in the market without being overall confused and second guessing myself, because it's like the information is right there. All I had to do was just wait for more data to reveal it. So anytime we get to these, and one thing that you can establish is identifying points that the market can either reject or break through, right? So this is another form of resistance. I'm gonna start making them black because I don't want to have all this red on my page, but this is another form of resistance. And we'll just annotate it as roof or ceiling, right? Make it in red. And this is really basic stuff. Like, you don't necessarily have to do it, but being able to do it mentally, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to draw this up to see this. That's how I'm able to easily do it real quick. And it's like, you don't want to have like a bunch of information. You just want to have what's important. And for me, the higher time frame is more important. But if you need this when you're starting off, definitely use it. I'm not saying that it's bad to use it. I'm just saying that it gets to the point where it's like, are you charting? Are you charting up? You know what I'm saying? Or are you just making your chart look pretty? You know what I'm saying? Or noisy? You see what I'm saying? Like and some people, I get it. Some people, they have a lot of stuff on their charts and they can read every bit of it. I try to dim the noise as much as possible. That's just my recommendation. Again, things may work different for you. And again, when we're like actually seeing what's to the left of us, because that's probably where we're heading. That's probably where the market is heading, like to the left of us. We start establishing or identifying patterns, trend patterns, what may be going on, where it's like, oh man, okay, I could see why the market is heading back here. You know what I'm saying? Or I can identify, hell, that at the very least, it's going to break through these roofs and at least touch this area up here. But if it's going to touch this area, why wouldn't it come back further to the top? You see what I'm saying? Your mind is going to start thinking towards that, giving you more opportunities to make plays as you're, drawing up your analysis. Because again, if we just draw a trend line Now, this isn't this isn't a traditional trend line as in it's, well, I guess it is still following resistance. And the reason why I said this is because what I'm trying to establish is that I just drew a resistance trend line from where the market pretty much started falling aggressively. Like it didn't even come back up to this zone, but what it did was create data points. Look, where's my circle at? Right here. And they're all over. We're just starting from here just to give you guys an example. They're all over. But what's important is like what happens after we get after it breaks the data point. So we have a data point right here. Possibly, right? Now, from what we've seen is that when the market, hits this overall, this is an imaginary line. I drew this. So the market doesn't have to necessarily respect this area. But at the very least, we want the market to actually, we don't know if this is the actual, trend of it. You know what I'm saying? Like the market could pretty much create a move where it does this. And say that that was the market getting extremely bullish right there, right? And then that's the market getting bearish. Again, what did we establish from where we were at? We said that the past 13 weeks, the market has been selling. The only thing that we have is that we've identified possible support on a higher time frame, which is the weekly. That is support. The market is going to bounce off these points, these data points. That doesn't mean that it's true, or that doesn't mean that's the overall move. I guess it's still true in a sense, but that doesn't mean that it's the overall move. So if the market did pop up, that would make sense. This is another form of resistance over here and then shot down from there. But like I said, what we've established so far is that we're at least bullish. So wherever we're heading, it's going to be somewhere back to either this data point or this data point, possibly, unless the market started to reject this area. Because like I said, it's closed right now. It's closed because it's the weekend. So we don't know if this market is going to continue like up to another point and then the data point changes where I might have to draw my line back. You see what I'm saying? Like draw my line back a little bit more. The conditions may change where it's like, okay, my annotations may not be the same as they were the last week and I have to adjust to that. You know what I'm saying? I'm only doing this based off the information that we have currently. Until we get more data, then we can start changing our annotations and stuff. But again, we've already identified that, hell, if it is going to sell, where can it sell from? You respect these forms of resistance and support versus like your trend, because your trend could be off. These are normally on point. You know what I'm saying? With you being like off by like a little bit because it's like you didn't touch that wick or the market tried to fake out, tried to do a fake out, then break out to the opposite side. So at least our first point of contact would be around this area, which is like 25,700. You just do whatever's after the decimal. Nobody cares about the decimal. But 25,700, right? And then our next point would be 25,988. So anywhere in that area after price retest, because more than likely what it's going to do is it'll probably retest. And then if it hits a roof, we may get that bounce off of here, then currently continue to push up. You'll see, nothing is concrete on what we're looking at, what we see today. It might not be relevant tomorrow, like I said, but these are still giving you, this still is giving you information to work off of that. Okay, if this market got bullish and just broke through all this and stuff, that's still information that you have. Okay, I already established that it was at a support zone on a higher time frame. So let's see if it's still trying to continue to buy. Nothing is like, you're not putting yourself like in jeopardy, but this information is still valuable like later on as you continue to go on. Now, this probably wasn't the best pair to show you guys. No, I mean, it still establishes, and the fact that I just chose a random player, it still establishes like anything in the market that you're looking at. So, like I said, more than likely, overall, this thing is bullish. Excuse me, this thing is bullish. Going to continue to push up, find a data point, and more than likely, its data point to be, like I said, if it is bullish and respecting this overall weekly support, then it's probably going to come as high as this resistance right here. Hell, it might even blow through all this. We'll see. It'll normally be to confirm it. If like next week you see, oh man, GU is, or the next couple of weeks, GU just like bought up like aggressively, like the candles ain't even stopped. They just kept producing like strong candles like this. Yeah, more than likely it's at least coming up here. You know what I'm saying? Back to the range high, at least the range high. And then from there, you can establish what the market may be doing. Now, I'll go into more things as the year goes on, guys. So definitely bear with me. Definitely drop in the chat any questions that you guys may have based off of like what I went over today. If you're confused about anything, if you just don't get it. Now, if you're green, like just starting off, have no knowledge as a trader, you may be like, what the hell did I just watch? You know what I'm saying? So that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Don't think that this information is not like sticking in your brain. And as you start to evolve, as you start to learn more, you're going to be able to, it's just going to naturally, you're going to recall like something when you're in front of your charts, and you're going to be like, how do I even know that? But it's because this information that, you know, you're listening to now, whatever other forms of information that you're looking at. But like I said, if you guys want to see more on things specifically, please don't hesitate to let me know in the chat. For my YouTubers, obviously, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you. I thank everybody that has been supporting me in this journey. I mean, we've been strong for what, since give me a second. We've been strong for rocking on since 2022. So I have a lot of things planned for 2025. Definitely keep, you know, giving me that support, ladies and gentlemen. For my Discord, this obviously for my guys in the Discord, this will obviously be put in the chat for you guys, or put in one of the channels for you guys to review later. But thanks everyone. And I will see you guys probably Sunday. I might do a pop-up Sunday, but if not, I know my regular schedule is still Tuesday morning. And let's just go from there. I hope everybody has a good trading week coming up. I hope everybody has a good trading year, man. I will see you guys next week.